Dirk Bentley this morning, good at tipping on back 6:36. I put out the cry for Supervisor Rex Bohn yesterday, and here he is. Good morning.
You whimper, I haul.
Well, okay. Review for those that weren't here yesterday. It was just I saw the board with the unanimous decision voted to cut the 40% of the eucalyptus trees to make room for our little path.
That was actually unanimous with one absent. I was over in Reading.
Oh, was that how you got out of it?
I was over in Reading cooking for the fire.
And thank you very much for that.
No.
I know you step up and did that kind of stuff. How would you have voted?
Probably would have voted to cut them down.
Okay.
I actually, if the importance of the trees are so important and everything else, we could put roundabouts at the end of each trail, and we just don't connect the trails. But people want the trails. There is a safety hazard. It's 40% of the trees are a non-native tree.
They're not native, but they've been there for 100 years. Yeah. It's kind of part of our landscape.
Yeah, read the obituaries. A lot of things that are 100 years old die. No, if we have another massive freeze, they'll go away. There's a whole bunch of different ways. I think the thing that bothers me is when we originally started to do this trail, it was going to be $6 to $8 million. And the safety corridor, which ended up, the safety corridor was going to be about $30 million. Well, now the trail's up over $20 million, and the safety corridor is now over $50 million.
Well, now we say the safety corridor $50 million. What's still happening on that? That's elevating it. What else is still to be done?
It's moving along at the blazing speed of government.
Yeah. So
they're doing all the environmental negotiations because the overpass, underpass there at the cash and carry, or the
break
city, break cut, is now being negotiated, and I think they have come to a resolution with the Coastal Commission, so it's not a blight to the coastal view that the Coastal Commission is looking for.
Okay. But again, you can say you go back through the trees. A couple of things, pick apart a couple of the stuff that you talk about. You said a freeze, and they're all gone. In 100 years that they've been there, there's been more than one or two freezes.
Yeah, we lost quite a few of them.
We lost a few, but there's still quite a few there.
They come back. I mean, Roland, is this something? I mean, I have an issue with hauling right now. I have people out in the hills that can't haul their cattle out of Alder Point and Mattole,
correct,
because the roads are so bad.
Right, and we're spending how much again on this bypass and this trail?
Oh, a whole bunch of money, $20 million.
Okay, so we're spending $20 million on that instead of paving roads that are really more necessary.
I'm not saying trails aren't important. I think trails.
Wait a second. You brought it up.
Yeah.
So we're spending $20 million on the trail, but you're complaining that you don't have money to pave Alder Point Road.
I'm not complaining. They are complaining.
Okay, they are complaining. I'll complain for them.
Yes.
How come we're spending $20 million on a trail and we're not paving Alder Point Road with the $20 million?
That's a great point. But what they will tell you,
wait a second, aren't you
they will tell you it's coming from a different pot of money, which
still comes
out of our wallet.
It still comes out of our wallet, and you're one of those that is in that position to decide which direction that money flows, right?
Well, if you remember, we go through this when they dictate where the state dictates where this money is going. We try to negotiate with the state as well as possible to get adequate funding to maintain our roads and to enhance the livability of the people that live here, which includes trails. I go back to looking at the McKay Forest. We got a lot of people say, why the McKay Forest? Well, now we just got a $600,000 grant to enhance the trails, to have the Cs go in there and enhance the trails for the walking safety of the residents of Humboldt County. So,
are we going to go through all the forests and take out the widowmakers and clean up all the dead brush?
I've heard of all. I've heard it's just a tree, to the effect of that they're a historical and they mean the world to me. And I understand how some people would feel. I fully understand. That's one of the reasons we're bringing in an arborist two arborists, I guess, to evaluate.
And how much do they get paid for their opinion? And they're still going to cut them. Let's pay them thousands of dollars to come in and say, yes, take my money and now I'll go ahead and cut them. But I mean, so we have the Coastal Commission saying we're worried about the view that the people want or don't want, based upon whether or not we could have an overpass on the automobile side of it.
Exactly.
And then we're saying we hear so many outcries. Have I heard anybody say, yes, cut them? Well, I take it back. I have seen some people cut them and usually throw the safety thing out there. But I've seen many more say, I love what they represent. Don't cut them. So now we've got the people that are saying don't cut them, and, well, we're going to cut them anyway. Then we've got the Coastal Commission that said, well, the people want the view, so I don't know if I should put in an overpass or not for saving lives. It's kind of, I don't know, counterproductive, or
it's like the billboard argument. Want the billboards down so I can see the bay, but leave the trees up so I can't see the bay.
Well, the trees, I think, are just a little more natural than a billboard.
I understand.
And I could argue on the billboard side.
I understand. And in reference, be careful how you argue. Jim Hoff is still around.
That's right.
But I truly believe. I think on the tree argument, on the safety issue, because what we're doing is we are creating a hazard. I went out there the other day. I walked out there. I didn't take any pictures. I went out there.
Did the trees know it were you? Did they try to drop something on you?
One tree threw a branch at me. But redwood trees, and you talk about the forest, and eucalyptus trees, from what I've read on the report, are completely different. They will show no wear and tear. They will just drop a branch.
That's right.
They will just drop a branch. As you well know, widowmakers and redwood trees, the branch kind of falls over on another branch, hangs on by the bark and everything else, and then it blows down. It doesn't just drop off. But I guess the eucalyptus, they just drop off. And there by no means an arborist.
And so there wasn't any other path that could be taken for this trail around, that you have to take 40%. You couldn't have gone around the mill or anything like that?
That's why we're saving over 60% of them, because we're going around the mill.
Oh.
That 60% is the part where we're going around the mill.
Otherwise, you would have cut them all.
Huh?
Otherwise, you would have cut them all.
It would have been a murdering eucalyptus massacre. No, I'm not sure what they would have had planned. I don't think they planned on having all the trees come down, nor did they want it. Now, with that being said, there's a retired engineer, and I love this plan. And since we're up to $20 million, what's $30 million? But he came through.
Exactly.
No, he came through where you come from the Target side.
Okay.
And you actually build a causeway of about 10 foot wide. You build it in 24-foot sections. You put it in the bay, and you walk across the bay, and then come all the way around the end of the mill.
Now we are talking about something that
would that be gorgeous?
Now we're talking about something that would attract people to the North Coast. Where else could you walk on water?
Well, no, I'm just I walked on water one time, and
I know,
and the newspaper said that I couldn't swim. No, the fact is,
again, like you said, what's another $10 million if you're spending $20?
Take a look at the bridge over there at Turtle Bay.
Exactly, that's the first thing came to my mind.
No, and I mean it's
and we saved the trees too.
I don't think the coast or whatever, but I'm thinking instead of walking 15, 20 feet away from the diesel trucks and the highway and everything else, and everybody honking and everything else, you'd be walking out with nature. And it sounded like a brilliant. It looked like a brilliant plan. I've been told so many times it's unfeasible, but I loved the idea of it, and he put a lot of time into it.
I kind of like that. I don't kind of like that idea. I love that idea.
I will get you a copy of the plan. I've got it on email.
Let's do it.
It is way cool.
Well, let's do that. And you guys going out to Alder Point, just drive around those potholes. If you lose a truck or two into the middle of them, we'll come back and tow it out.
Alder Point's not my district. I worry about the Mattole Valley.
Oh, the Mattole Valley, okay.
Which is agreeably.
Don't worry that we're spending $20 to $30 million.
The worst road in.
And about how long a road is that?
It's coming. The Mattole 67 miles.
So about 67 miles needs attention in your district there versus
that's just I've got a lot
versus
more
the 2 or 3 miles.
We probably have $150 million backlog in public roads.
Yeah, versus so we spend $20 million on a trail cutting trees. Who cares? Good morning, Rex.
What are you?
I won't tell you what he said when he first walked into the studio, but I appreciate you coming by.
But the other thing is to remember.
Yes,
it's from a different pot of money. But always remember, all the ingredients for everything going into that pot come out of your wallet.
That's exactly right.
So I think the public input, I think everybody's view should be heard. I think it's important, and I think people should speak up. I mean,
well, I would assume they did on this issue, but it sounds to me, for so many of us on the side of keeping the trees, felt like it was probably already decided.
I would almost agree to a certain extent, except our Hank Seaman, our natural resources director, is so wicked smart and puts so much time and effort into this. It's sometimes you have to defer to staff. That's why you hire these people that are experts in it. And I think he probably turned this thing inside and out looking for other options, and this is what he came up with. So sometimes you just have to bank on your staff, and especially with somebody like Hank, who is a little bit smarter than me and has a lot more knowledge on this.
All right. Is coffee good?
Coffee's good. Coffee's free. Free coffee's the best coffee.
Glad you came in. Thanks, Rex.